welcome to the Press Room with WCN-TV, brought to you by the Wilson County News. We're your source for community and communication. I'm your host, Julia, the Marketing and Social Media Specialist here at the Wilson County News. In today's show, we're diving deeper into the following topics. News from Wilson County Sheriff Stewart about the department's progress, news from Poth City Council as they discuss tax rates, plus tips for taxes and record keeping to help you stay on track this year. Read the Wilson County News, available on newsstands near you to learn more about these topics, or subscribe online at wilsoncountynews.com/subscribe so you never miss an edition. Don't forget to follow us on whatever platform you're watching today so you also never miss an episode of The Press Room or any of our other WCN-TV news. In the August 24th edition of the Wilson County News, reporter Gregory Rips gives an update from Wilson County's Sheriff Stewart. Here to talk with us about his promise to prioritize narcotics investigations in Wilson County, among other efforts, is Sheriff Jim Stewart. Elected in November 2020, he is Wilson County's first new sheriff in 28 years. Welcome to the Press Room, Sheriff Stewart.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And we're glad you're here. As our first new sheriff in 28 years, you hit the ground running once you assumed your position in January of 2021. So now it's just over a year and a half later. What are your thoughts about the Sheriff's Department and the efforts and progress that you've made?
I think we've moved forward quite a bit in the last year and a half. Unfortunately, COVID kind of put a kink in things.
Right.
With just the way things were in society and things were shut down. We probably didn't get a real good look at what we would be dealing with because everything was shut down. So it was a little slower probably than what I was expecting or what I anticipated.
Right.
This year though, as society's opened back up, we're a lot more busy than we were the year before.
I bet.
And we're going to have to adjust to that. The overall thing, I think, was that we were lacking in some technology and equipment that would help enhance our ability to serve the public.
Right.
But in the last year, we have been able to grant quite a bit of equipment. That's and implemented some things with that equipment that make us function a little more efficiently. So
that's awesome for the department. So when you were running for office, you made things like community interaction, proactive patrols, and transparency among your top priorities. So have you been able to implement these things?
Yes, I have. The community interaction, I encourage all of my officers to visit with the public at every opportunity.
Right.
But also we have a booth that's available. We go to most all functions, set the booth up, and it's more, the booth is more designed toward interacting with the younger folks.
Okay.
Than maybe the grown-ups, but it is also nice that the grown-ups will stop by. You can visit with them, but also get the young people a little more comfortable with us.
Right, that makes so much sense. Like having a place where a kid can go and meet a local police officer.
Exactly.
Oh, cool.
And we give out coloring books and the lozenge and stuff, but things that they can interact, and it promotes us.
Right.
And we're in need of that today. Promoting a good relationship with law enforcement is very, very important today.
I can see why.
On the proactive side, we are a lot more proactive. We do a lot of security checks on buildings. We patrol by residences. If they want to report that they're on vacation, they can tell us they're going to be gone. We'll make extra checks by there. It's probably not where I'd like it to be at this time, but the majority of that issue is staffing.
Okay.
We have so much reactive calls that we have to go to that without more staffing, it's awful hard to do the proactive when you're always busy reacting to other things.
That makes a lot of sense.
But as the department grows, I see us being able to even be better at that. And I believe that we've been pretty transparent. Our Facebook page, we usually post all the things that we do that we think the public would be interested in.
All right.
If anybody has any questions, they can feel free to call us, come by the office. we'll do whatever we can to help them. So I think that as far as transparent, I believe we have been doing a pretty fair job at that.
I have to agree. And their Facebook page is tagged Wilson County Sheriff's Department,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Awesome. And so you can follow them there to keep up with all the fun stuff that they're able to share with the public.
Exactly.
All right. So another of your top priorities has been battling narcotics in Wilson County. How has your department gone about this?
We instituted right now I have 2 dedicated narcotics investigators,
All right.
and that is their sole position is to combat narcotics, sales and distribution, stuff like that. In the last year and a half, conservatively, we've probably done between 50 and 100 narcotics arrests.
Wow.
And those pretty much are dealing directly with the dealers.
Okay.
And that's, to me, pretty significant
Yeah.
for just getting started and trying to get the lay of the land. I do know that we've had at least a half dozen or more search warrants we went to,
Wow.
which I know we usually post that information to let people know we did that. And those are probably some of our bigger cases that we've had.
Okay.
But we continue to work on it. And as I said during my campaign, a lot of crime in the county is tied to narcotics one way or the other. If you're not battling the narcotics, you're just opening yourself up for the rest of the crime too. So we need to keep being and that's probably the most proactive place I've been in the last year and a half is on that side.
The narcotics, because like you mentioned, other crimes are stemming from this root cause. That makes so much sense. Do you feel that y'all are being successful in your efforts?
Yes, I think we're doing very well. As I mentioned earlier, if we had more manpower, more resources, we could do even better. But where we stand right now, I think we're doing a very good job with what we have.
Well, that's awesome. Good to hear. And so, as a last note to the community, what are ways that they can help you and your department be successful in meeting their needs?
The best way the public can help us, I guess, is to make us aware of things because we can't see everything.
Right.
And when they have things that they think are suspicious or don't look right, is to at least call us and let us know what they see, any information they can give us with cell phones and cameras and other things like that. Now, a lot of times you can even get us pictures.
Wow.
And so that we know what we're looking for. The other thing I'd say is, from my aspect of it, would be to let the leaders of the community, of the county, the commissioners, judge, whatever, let them be aware of what their needs are.
Okay.
Let us know, but also let them know, because their priorities should be ours.
Right.
So if the citizens would tell us what they're expecting of us, what service they want, then we know how to fund it and move forward to try to provide that service.
That makes a lot of sense. So how would they best be able to reach out to you to tell that information?
We can do it through social media as we have.
Right.
I do know that some people do reach out to us. They can call. My office is very open. You don't have to talk to me to get anything accomplished.
Right.
In my office, if you make a phone call there, somebody should talk to you and be able to help you get any information you need delivered to us. They can do it by mail. They can do it by social media. They can do it by phone. They can come in person.
Wow.
And whatever's most convenient and they feel most comfortable with is the way I'd say for them to make contact with us.
That's awesome.
And at the baseline is flag down an officer you see on the side of the road.
Yeah. All right.
And that probably wouldn't be a bad thing because they probably need to stop and visit with you anyway.
Very true. Part of your community interaction.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Well, it's been great talking to you today. Thank you so much for sharing.
Well, Julia, I appreciate this. I enjoyed the interview, and we'll probably do it again in the future.
Awesome. Good to know.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next, we're talking Poth City Council with Wilson County News editor Nanette Kilby-Smith. In their August 15th meeting, the council considered a reduction in their property tax rate for the coming fiscal year. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good to be back.
Awesome. So why is the Poth City Council considering a reduction in their property tax rate?
Well, according to the mayor,
Right.
They're looking good financially, and they don't need additional revenue from a higher tax rate. So they're, as a quite conservative city, they're in a position to say they could get the revenue that they need from a slightly lower tax rate over the current rate.
Right, that makes sense. So will any other bills be seeing an increase in the coming fiscal year?
Yeah, although many residents of Poth, taxpayers in Poth, might see a lower property tax bill, those who use the city utilities, the water, sewer, have trash service through the city will see an increase in their tax bills, and that's because the city, a number of years ago, not a lot, but enough to be significant, had a loan for some water system improvements. And rather than hit everybody with a big bill as it comes closer for the loan to be paid off, they've been increasing their utility rates just a little bit at a time over time to accommodate paying back that debt. And of course, everybody's getting the benefit of improvements to the system, so.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Poth is a very conservative city, but they're also a balanced budget city. So what does that mean for a city to have a balanced budget?
Well, traditionally, cities will, and every year this happens, every year our cities, our school districts, our taxing entities have a budget cycle. And so they'll look at, what did they spend last year? What are they projecting to need to spend next year? What are they looking at revenue-wise? Balance means that their revenue and expenditures are the same or as close to the same. It's not quite zero-based budgeting, which is a complex process, but a balance means, what's coming in and what's going out are pretty close to the same.
Awesome. How has Poth City Council been able to achieve that for the city?
They have been fiscally conservative for a number of years. This does go back a good few years now, where they've been just practicing very good stewardship. And trying, being very intentional with expenditures and revenue. Looking at, they regularly try to, and again, this is historically over the last 10, probably more than 10 years, that they look at what do they have, what do they need to do big ticket items like water improvements or other, capital expenditures. And they try to actually put money by for that rather than have to take out loans. So it's just conservative fiscal stewardship.
Awesome. That's some good effort.
It's quite remarkable. And a lot of small towns are very similar in their approach. They understand that it's taxpayer money, so they're trying to be careful with it.
Absolutely.
And they're all taxpayers who make these decisions, so they do seem to try particularly to make just good budgeting decisions. So it's commendable, and it was commendable that the auditor said, kind of good job, you're a balanced budget city. So it's an achievement.
Well, congrats.
Everybody wants to try to get there, but things come up, and sometimes it's difficult. You get winter storms or flooding or something that means you've got to do something to roads or water systems that you weren't anticipating. But for the most part, they seem to be winning on that score.
Well, that's awesome for Poth. Yeah. Well, thank you for your time today.
Oh, you bet.
Also, in the August 24th edition of the Wilson County News is information about tax credits that college students can benefit from keeping track of. Eligible taxpayers who paid higher education costs for themselves, their spouse, or dependents in 2021 may be able to take advantage of two tax credits: the American Opportunity Tax Credit and the Lifetime Learning Tax Credit. For more information about the tax credits and eligibility criteria, see the August 24th Wilson County News, or find the article "College Students Should Study Up on Tax Records" online at wilsoncountynews.com. On the topic of taxes, folks often lose their copies of important records due to disasters like fires and floods. This can leave people without the documentation needed for tax records, federal assistance programs, or insurance claims. However, there is hope in situations like these. Tax records, financial statements, and property records are often available for retrieval online. To learn how you can retrieve your lost important records, see the article Rebuild After Disasters with Copies of Important Records in the August 24th Wilson County News, also available online at wilsoncountynews.com. That's all for today, folks. Thank you for tuning in to the Press Room with WCN-TV, brought to you by the Wilson County News. For more information about any of the topics discussed, please see the August 24th edition of the Wilson County News. You can also find articles corresponding to the topics linked in the description of this video. Remember to follow us where you're watching so you never miss an episode of the Press Room, and consider subscribing to receive print, digital, or both editions of the Wilson County News at wilsoncountynews.com/subscribe. You can even find free news resources at wilsoncountynews.com or download our community app, Go Wilson, from the App Store or at gowilsonapp.com to receive updates from the newsroom at your fingertips. We hope you'll tune in next week for another episode of the Press Room. We'll see you soon.